As technology evolves, so does the nature of labour. An observation made recently by our Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, who shared his musings with high school graduates. Let's listen in.
The probability of you leaving school and not being employed is getting smaller and smaller, right? So that means that when you leave school, you will get a job. Now, the question is going to be, all right, we now have jobs, but what about income? And to get higher levels of income, you need to enter the world of work with higher levels of skill.
The encouragement applies to all of us. We can endeavour to invest in ourselves, learn new skills, and be inventive as we improve our work delivery. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. We have lots more in store for you today, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the news. Good day, I am Adrian Atkinson and this is your JIS News for Friday, September 22, 2023. The government will be allocating $150 million to bolster Irish potato production as well as $80 million in support of onion producers. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green made the announcement at the recent commencement of the 2023 to 2024 National Irish Potato and Onion Production and Productivity Incentive Programme. Under the initiative, onion and Irish growers will receive technical assistance, seeds and herbicides. They will also receive equipment such as rotor bedders used for land preparation, seed planters and tractor service. Minister Green says one of the goals of the Irish Potato Programme is to achieve an increase in production by 20 tonnes per hectare by 2024. The minister adds that the funds will be used to ramp up crop care, training and productivity among farmers.
And we're going to use our 150 million plus the support from our various partners to do a number of things. Clearly, we're going to continue to provide support in relation to chemicals, working with our farmers up to a maximum of 2 hectares. We're going to be establishing 9 validation plots because we have to enhance our training. And I want more farmers to be planting for a direct market that has already been predetermined.
This, Minister Green says, will give farmers a sense of certainty about the profit that will be made from the crops. Jamaica's sound fiscal management is being credited for the country's ability to secure climate finance. Minister with responsibility for climate change, Senator Matthew Samuda, gave the details as he addressed the 78th General Assembly of the United Nations in New York on Wednesday. It's being held under the theme Scaling Up Climate Finance, Investment for a Livable Planet. Among the financing available to Jamaica is $968 million under the IMF Precautionary and Liquidity Line Arrangement and $764 million under the Resilience and Sustainable Facility. Minister Samuda says these are emergency facilities that the government can draw down should there be a need. In addition, US $175 million is also available through the catastrophe bond. Despite this, Minister Samuda says much more is needed to meet the country's climate resilience.
We really, as SIDS, we have a capacity gap, and it's not something that's it's understood, but it's not helped sufficiently, I think, from our multilateral partners. Because ultimately, to build the sorts of transactions that do facilitate crowding in of finance is difficult. And when you have a small public bureaucracy, developing those sorts of programs is difficult.
In the meantime, Minister Samuda gave an update on the island's nationally determined contributions, NDCs.
We expect that half of our energy will be produced by renewable sources by 2030. We will start a 45 megawatt solar floating system over our largest reservoir within weeks. It's something we're very proud of. Our water system is the largest user of electricity in Jamaica, so it's very important that we start to decarbonize that. We will also go to market for 200 megawatts of clean energy production.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting a reduction in its general immunization program. This is being attributed to the implementation of the catch-up vaccination program, which began last year and continued into this summer. Director of Family Health Services in the Ministry, Dr. Julia Rowe Porter, says the immunization program is on track following the diversion of resources during the pandemic. Dr. Rowe Porter says the country's vaccination rate was at 80%, 15% below the 95% target. The ministry was, however, able to close the gap over the summer period with the administering of back-to-school medicals.
We use that as an opportunity to engage parents and ensure that they take their cards in and that their children are up to date, and if they're not, then we vaccinate them.
Jamaica's mandatory immunization, which prioritizes children, serves to protect the population against deadly diseases, many of which the country has been able to eliminate through vaccines. By law, all children under the age of 7 must be adequately immunized for their age and for registration to schools. School operators and healthcare workers can be found liable if they allow children to attend school without being properly immunized.
And this applies to daycares, nurseries, basic schools, primary schools, all children. We are victims of our own success, meaning we've done so well as a country. We've gotten international awards for our program, and it's to the point where we've forgotten what these diseases do. We can't slip and slide and say, well, what's the point? We're not seeing them, let's not get vaccinated, because if we do, then we'll go back to the era where we're suffering from these deadly diseases.
Dr. Rowe Porter was speaking on our current affairs program, Get the Facts. Catch the full interview in this Sunday's Jamaica Magazine. In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has condemned the attack on a director of the Integrity Commission. Mr. Holness expressed deep concern about the incident which took place on Thursday in the Commission's parking lot. In a release, Prime Minister Andrew Holness underscored the critical role the Commission plays in upholding the principles of transparency, accountability and integrity within the country. He said acts of violence directed at individuals serving in such critical roles is an insult to the country's democratic values. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Holness reiterated his full confidence in the ability of the law enforcement agencies to swiftly investigate the matter and bring those responsible to justice. The public is also being urged to cooperate with the authorities in their investigation. And finally, the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, is being hailed for its assistance to Jamaica's women and girls. The commendation comes from Gender Minister Olivia Grange during a recent tour of the Women's Centre of Jamaica Foundation, WCJF, headquarters in Kingston.
Over the years, the interventions provided to Jamaica by the UNFPA, particularly within the COVID-19 context, have been able to strengthen our protection and response mechanism to positively impact the lives of every woman and child.
The minister further cited technical support provided to the WCJF by the UNFPA through the Spotlight initiative, which aims to end violence against women and girls, eliminate child sexual abuse and intimate partner violence, as well as discrimination against vulnerable groups. And that's it for JRS News Today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
Use the light in a night or day. Speed kills, when you're in a hurry. speed on them. When you see a pedestrian crossing, just stop. Don't drive past them. Road safety time, a time for slow down. Cut the speed or you don't come grow.
Motorists, please look out for us when we're crossing the road.
Government, through entities like the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is transforming its service delivery and operations with technology. Get the details next.
So we have never done it before, and I think it's a beautiful concept.
The medical services branch is actually extremely important because we focus on the health of the police officers.
They don't know that we do sketches, we do ID parades. The technology sections, they don't know about us. So this is like educating the public so they can better utilize the JCF.
The four-day show-stopping exposition of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF's work, grabbed the attention of the public, who came out in their numbers. The event displayed the advanced integration of technology into the day-to-day operation of the police force. It demonstrated how the men and women of the JCF are embracing and employing these technologies. Take, for example, creating a digital facial composition of suspects.
The time you take to create that image depends on the witness memory.
And having a digital database to facilitate ID parades. These techniques are very integral in the crime-fighting process to solve cases.
Before, there were instances where persons had to go to the cells to pick out that perpetrator. And you know how intimidating that might have been to be faced with thugs. But now we have what we call a ProMat system, where we put the identification parade on the computer, as you see being displayed on our computer here. So you no longer are required to see that person physically, but you actually look on a computer and pick out that person from a lineup.
Then there are the body cameras that are worn by officers to capture interactions or altercations with the public. These devices are designed to give real-time information while on location, sending first-hand signal straight to the command center. The interaction was much different at the Weapons and Tactical Training Unit. The weapons and devices on display tell another level of specialized training officers on the front line must undergo to use these tools with precision.
Starting with this one, this big one, everybody is always fascinated with this one. Everybody. So this is the Barrett 50 caliber rifle. This is not really used to shoot human beings, but it's used to disable vehicles, crafts, boats, destroy material, walls, buildings, those things.
This is one of the most visited booths, and while persons would have loved to hold one of the firearms, the less lethal devices were best suited.
The JCF teaches us what is called Plan JM, so the force must be proportionality, right? We're talking about proportionality. So it all depends on the level of force that the suspect is using. You determine, the officer, which level of force you can use to subdue that suspect.
Another level of training on display is the ability to detect the smuggling of narcotics and weapons. And no matter how creative the ideas are, in Bibles, Bulla, you name it, these officers will find it. They have a 95% success rate. The Inchai private eyes are also very skillful at detecting counterfeit documents, currencies, and apparels. Meanwhile, on the seas is another set of officers protecting our borders from transshipment and transnational crimes. The Transformations Expo also exposed the softer side of the JCF, such as the personal relationships formed at the community level through the Community Safety and Security Branch. The other areas were the medical and chaplaincy units, taking a holistic approach to the welfare of these first responders.
We do counseling, we conduct devotions, we plan seminars for our members. We also offer CISD, that is Critical Incident Stress Debriefing, whenever time a member is in shootout, just to alleviate the repercussions of stress. We debrief those members. We also do weddings, funerals, and we not only cater to our members, but the family of our police officers.
So it's not only the physical health, we focus on the mental, emotional, psychological health. Because a police officer comes under stress, extreme stressful situations daily, and we're there to assist them to be healthier individuals.
And you can see why. The SWAT team is always ready to respond to high-risk situations, and the forensic team combs through crime scenes and use high-tech equipment to analyze the data.
Physical evidence does not lie. So when a crime scene is processed for physical evidence, it has to be done in such a way that the integrity of the evidence is maintained throughout that entire process. Because when the witnesses will fail in terms of what they would have perceived, or if they would have manipulated the information in some other way, the physical evidence does not.
It's a clear indication of the advances we have made in modernizing, digitizing, and transforming the force for good into a technology-driven 21st century police.
I think we can compete with almost any other country in terms of our law enforcement effort and the technology that are now being introduced within the JCF and the quality of people in terms of their competencies and their capacity. We do have that as a force.
Further evidence of this is at the technology booth. Here we see firsthand the use of facial recognition CCTV cameras clearly capturing persons as they enter the arena. The cameras are also able to detect license plates, vehicle types, and models. These high-tech devices are part of the Jamaica Eye network of over 800 cameras placed at strategic locations across the island. The use of drones is also part of the specialized operations of the police force.
As you look at the capabilities being displayed by the JCF, you will realize that it is not a PR stunt. That everything that you see displayed here represents a threefold increase in the capital budget of the JCF in the last 8 years.
Most people have interactions with us is when they're having a bad day. This is an opportunity to see the humanness behind that face of the police, to share in that humanity, to share in the journey.
The overall objective of the expo was to reinforce public confidence that the force is equipped to ensure safety and security. At the same time, the JCF is signaling to criminals that it has the resources to go after them. So what's the takeaway from such an extraordinary event that was conceptualized and executed by the men and women of the JCF?
I think the expo is very good. I mean, it seems that the JCF is very advanced technology-wise. And I mean, with all these things that I've seen thus far, I believe our crime rate should definitely be less.
Everybody is saying that the JCF is not doing this and not doing that, and we can't control crime or anything, but this is an eye-opener.
I'm glad that the public now get a better understanding of some of the things that we do, because sometimes we are underrated. But now they will understand that we are not the old antiquated police force. We are now a modern police force going through a process of transformation.
Persons are really surprised at the technology, the knowledge and the skills that we possess and the extent to which we actually process crime scenes here.
Well, as you can observe, based on the setup, you can see that there are a lot of bright minds in the JCF. We are here, bright people. We fit in anywhere in the world.
We want people to know that the JCF, we are a part of Jamaica. We are from Jamaica. We are from you, the community. All we require is your help, your understanding, your trust, partnership. That is all we ask.
So I want you to know that the force is a force for good. It's somewhere that you need to join. Encourage your children, encourage your neighbors to come and join us. There are many different avenues, many different ways you can serve the force.
Child diversion in the Ministry of Justice is just our way of diverting children who are considered to be troubled, wayward, or children who just come into contact with the justice system. There are a few misconceptions about the program. One is that it's only bad children or children who always misbehave that come to the child diversion program. The program is here for children who make mistakes, as they will do because they are children. The other misconception is that once they are referred to the program, we are going to take the children away. That is not the plan of the program. In the best interest of the child, we try to ensure that they are around their family or the guardian that can support them to be rehabilitated. So they come to the program and they stay at home. As a matter of fact, most of them that come to the program don't end up at a facility for children. They stay at home and they complete the program there, and they continue with school and everything that they would do. If you know of children who have come into conflict with the law, one way or the other, consider child diversion as an option.
Have you heard about NATES? Its aim? To safeguard quality, food security, all while keeping predatory larceny at bay. Find out more in this next feature.
For the introduction of proper traceability of animals and products of animal origin, countries have implemented systems to ensure the safety of food and also for disease surveillance purposes. So the NATES, National Animal Identification and Traceability System, was pretty much brought into being with the passage of the marking of bovine animals regulations of 2015, which mandates all farmers, all owners of cattle to have those animals tagged and issued with a passport.
So the objective is to get starting with cattle, to get the cattle identified with a government tag that ties that animal to its owner. So as it moves from one owner to the other, the passport goes with the animal, and it has a proof of change of ownership.
Yeah, I heard about the program through on the media, and I had interest in it because I wanted to have some formal means of identifying my animals. The animals, most of them look alike, and you want to have a means of identifying them. Let's say you treat one, and you're not sure if that's the one you treated yesterday or the day before. When you have the identification number on it, you can use traceability and get back to the animal that you actually treated and know what to do.
For first-time owners, there's a census form that needs to be filled out. On this form, there's a specific establishment number that no other farmer will have. So every farmer has their specific number. This is the tag that is used. Both ears of the cattle will be tagged. One side takes the DNA sample. So this same number that is on the tag is the same number on the passport for this particular animal. The first three digits at the top is the series. And this series could occur on other tags, but the 5 digits below is specific to one animal, to that particular farmer.
Welcome to the Juicy Patty Farm at Comfort in Clarendon.
When I came here, probably half of the stock was tagged at the time. Currently we have 576 animals here. Out of that, 560 are tagged. Whenever animals are born, we report it within 7 days of birth, and we make arrangements with them to come in and tag. Especially for us, we transport animals on a weekly basis from here to the abattoir. So once it goes on the thoroughfare, you have to have the passports along with the relevant documentation for that animal.
It also helps us in terms of our disease surveillance and monitoring activities, where we exactly know where the farms are, the amount of animals on the farm, the movement of those animals, so that we can have a robust system and to be able to respond more rapidly to any emerging situation we may have.
I would encourage all farmers, all cattle farmers to get it done, make use of the opportunity so that they can improve on their record and also for identifying their animals.
Still on technology, the World Economic Forum predicts that as artificial intelligence evolves, some jobs will be lost while others will be created. Jobs that will be lost? Web and graphic designers, proofreaders and translators, healthcare assistants. Jobs that will be created: machine learning engineers, robotics engineers, data scientists. For persons to remain marketable in the digital age, here are some skill sets that need to be explored: critical thinking, critical analysis, problem solving, and self-management, such as active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. But most important is a positive attitude as we strive to push Jamaica forward and make our island the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in paradise. We've come to the end of our program, but only for today. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.